So can you tell us a bit, what did you do in Ethereum Foundation? You had a lot of influence in Solidity and the way the language, the compilers works with optimizations and everything. So I would be interested to hear like how was it there?
I was part of the Solidity team. My role was to like help build the Sol-C compiler, which also means you have to help shape the future of the language and mold new features into the language. A lot of it was engineering, but after a bit, you have to focus more on the language design part, which involves figuring out how the language should evolve over time. So most of our work was around the actual engineering behind the compiler, but I was always interested in like talking to the users. And so there is this the team chat channels used to be in previously called Getter, and now it's Metrics. I used to be quite active in at least answering a lot of the user questions on the Getters back then. I think very few people knew this existed, but I would give them pretty advanced and reasonable answers to all their questions. But then after a certain point, I moved to maybe like Twitter. I was answering a lot of questions there, and suddenly I was the one who got tagged in a lot of the Solidity questions on Twitter. But yeah, I used to do that before in Getter. It's just that Getter is less visible and maybe not many people knew about it. So
kind of old school, before we had like Twitter and Stack Overflow, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, Getter was designed for mainly engineering, and you can connect a Getter to a GitHub repo, and that's the whole deal. Where if you want to chat about a GitHub repo, that's probably where you can find all the people interested in it. And Solidity had like two of them, one mainly for engineering and the other one mainly for like support. So talking to a lot of these users, figuring out their issues, that gives you a lot of insight into what is missing in the language, how we can improve the language. So this was also something that really fascinated me over time. How instead of just building the compiler, how can we actually make the language fundamentally better?